as far as the jungle pool, is going to find the first skirmish.
Cuzz kicking things off. Keria waiting off to the side. TP already used. Flash backwards. The concussive blow stacking. Owner 2. They got him! Manages to lock him down, and that's going to be first blood. They're donating it to BDD.
The roam up the bottom lane here. Peter on the Braum again.
And I would say dragging his team to finals back in 2021.
As Doran
going in. Hunter's volley not quite enough. Now Keria is looking to finish the job himself. Slowly but surely the Poppy whittling him down. Doran forced to flash away. But Keria hungry for blood. A little bit more time. The Q flash forward. Doran with a bit of a sidestep. Extra movement speed. Trying to make it through the minions. Doran living for an extra moment. Avoiding the angle back into the wall. Keria gets the knockback. The cleanse coming out. 1 for 1 in the bottom lane.
And Doran
there. Wukong is there.
Doran on the way down. He won't be there in time. However, Unbreakable Peter looking to mark him up. Concussive blows finally hitting. Auto attack reset more than enough. Guma Yushi falls at the hands of Cuzz.
And KT are not letting them breathe.
And have a good game is crucial for KT's game plan, as the ulti doesn't connect from Doran. That's crushing. Very likely would have been a sure thing on the initial kill, and now Perfect wants to go for the all-in. Keria on the way up, but Perfect is completely overheated. Buying a bit more time to overheat now as he turns back into the wave. Damage coming in, and the rest of the team has arrived. Spinning right on top of Doran. It is a cyclone. Keria running for his life. Concussed, taken down. KT dominating game 1.
Scuttle grab. Bottom side mid wave is not even going to get pushed all the way in.
Doran.
That's 4 people.
Overstaying, concussive blows. The cyclone immediately comes out as well. Doran can't push a single button. KT merciless on the dive. Doran caught asleep at the wheel. Overconfident T1 trying to fire back for the first tower, but it's KT who get it. To the objective. Owner, Guma, Faker, Keria all ready to go. Keria's ulti, you highlighted it earlier, can be crucial, can deny some of the members of KT access to the pit here, but it's a very slow, drawn-out secure. BDD marking Doran on the flank. Arrow starting to rain. Peter getting chunked out. A flashback from Perfect. T1 chipping away at those resources. Eyes on the equalizer. Redemption now used. Cooldown up just in time. KT keeps going, but now they want to turn it right back. Instantaneous equalizer. Keria locked up. Rumor coming in, but denied. Keria wants to knock Perfect out of the fight, but it might not matter because it's Doran into the back line. Owner stays standing. Cuzz taken down. T1 fired back.
No matter the early deficit, T1, they still win the team fight. They still get the dragon, and they're looking for BDD.
On the hunt for BDD, but there's just nowhere for him to go in the blink of an eye. KT's lead disappears. No flash for Cuzz. KT luckily able to reset the objective, but I don't think they're going to get a chance to leave quite yet. T1 know they have an advantage in the fight if it comes down to the 5v5. Flash forward, ulti into the back, immediately thinks he kicked off, but Peter does his best to heroically disengage. It is not enough to keep Doran standing. Cuzz taken out as well. Doran in the 3v1, completely and totally unfazed. Keria there to stop any further follow-up. Faker taking down Perfect, and BDD is not enough to stop T1.
And it's the Crook Lord that finds his mark. Doran goes down, and T1 turn onto Doran.
Doran, the addition to this T1 roster, annihilated him.
Hello.
Resetting, resistance is shredded by the Otacon. Keria, ward over the wall, spots out Cuzz. T1 know it's a 50-50 now. 5 seconds on Doran, but he doesn't have access to a TP to make it to the fight any faster. Perfect TP available. BDD finds the angle into Doran. Keria now backing up. 3K on the objective. Getting lower. Steadfast presence gone. Faker on the backside. Cuzz wants to try to make it out of this one, but now they're moving into advantage. Take out Guma. No, Guma living. Like to finish him. Looking for a bit more damage, but T1, they find the double for Keria. They take the Thornbound Otacon, and Perfect. It is too little. It is too late.
Baker teleports in and he saves the team fight. He gets that shove. They get the Otacon.
Cuzz is getting chunked. Already took an arrow. Faker's looking to split the fight.
7K. Cuzz gonna have a hard time healing back up that chip damage. Does have access to the Sundered Sky. Objective reset now. Eyes on those support cooldowns as well. Keria's ulti, the Unbreakable for the Braum will be important as T1 already getting mid-prio. Doran fishing for the flank once again. Ready to come over the wall with the public execution. Keria going into the wall, locking up Cuzz. Instantaneous knockup! A flawless combo to keep it going. Doran finally escapes, but he just finds himself in a 1v1 versus Doran. Hope fading fast for the side of KT as Keria is still standing. Perfect and BDD running for the hills. T1 grabbing their second Drake, but Owner not done yet. Knocks Peter out as well.
And Cuzz just doesn't get to play the game. Keria.
They can force Cuzz out of the pit. 7K, objective getting lower. Owner isolated. Faker off to the side, likely going to have to use the arm guard. Extra shield coming in. Faker stone cold as he holds the cooldown. Doctam starting to push forward, but he really doesn't have too much damage. Eyes on Perfect and Cuzz, the equalizer, the Cyclone. T1 moving through the choke point, but KT don't have the vision they need. Finally, the ward dropped as T1 once again take control of mid, but happy to just trade a few cooldowns and back away.
And it was the resilience of KT that got them the win against Gen G. That game looked dire as well. TP comes in from Faker, won't have his ult, Zona goes in.
Catch him out, Unbreakable used to kick off the fight. That's the ulti from Gumayushi. Good response coming in from Perfect, but the damage not really enough. Ulti does not connect from Doran. Knockback from Keria takes BDD out of the equation. And once again, it's Doran on top of Doctam. Concussive blows, buy him an additional second. Perfect running, the flick back likely to come through as Faker tries to get the damage down, but now he finds himself in a brief 2v1. Goes Golden. Knocked back into the wall! Keria there right in time as KT are effortlessly dismantled. Doran dropping Perfect as well. The Hail Mary, KT betting it all. 5 members strong, but it's a Baron buff empowering T1. As long as they buy time here, they're chipping away at that Red Bull Baron power play. Objective getting lower. Owner waiting over the wall to divide the team coming in from Faker. Denied a bit by Peter, and it's Owner now on the flank looking for Cuzz. Not sure if he's found him. Cuzz turning right back onto Owner. Owner instantaneously into the back line. The concussive blows there, as is the perfect execution. Keria in the thick of it. Gumayushi and Faker untouched coming over the wall, but it's Faker. Full confidence is the flash, but unfortunately the flip back goes wide. Doran turns it right back with a sundering blow. KT pulling away. Man advantage for the side of T1 being ushered out. Keria wants to deny it, but he will only be able to isolate Perfect. The Baron still backing them up. The Dragon in their sights. T1 once again taking a fight. Start to flounder. They decide it's not worth it. They decide they don't want it. Instead, they're going to turn their sights to the Drake, spawning in 4 seconds. T1 already have secured the Baron on the back of a keeper's verdict from Keria. Now they might just look to end it here. Flash forward. Perfect execution. Aptly named as Doctam takes him down. KT now chasing out as well. BDD trying to well more back into the rest of the team. But Keria once again there to interrupt. Doran unfazed by the magic damage of BDD. It's a double kill coming through. Perfect and Cuzz, the last 2 left standing. But a TP into the base to bring back and seal the deal in game 1. T1, what a performance.
And Perfect running for the hills. I don't think his survival is gonna matter as Doran and Keria show a masterclass in this game 1. The lane for both, I think, looked a little precarious, but those team fights, man. But he does have to pay for it heavily.
And the critical part is that T1, they don't overextend the play because Cuzz and Peter were on the way there, and now they're looking at Guma.
KT getting aggressive, just knocking down Gumayushi, taking first blood as Peter flawlessly turns into the Canyon minion to eat countless tower shots.
We need multiple items to really have that extra pressure, and the team is built around a Sivir Lulu comp here. While there's possibilities elsewhere.
Nice side step from BDD, just barely able to get away. Vault Breaker coming in for Cuzz, opts not to flash. The turn back from Owner is solid. Faker now on the way in himself, trying to use the golden clips to keep things going. The Ezreal ulti across the top. BDD grabbing one. Faker will turn it back, but he's under the tower, and it's Cuzz to take him down.
And he needs to be very careful about how he picks his fights because, again, T1, there's only 2 big carries, but this early on, the damage is still there as BDD.
BDD potentially caught out, layering into CC a little bit off. BDD unstoppable for a brief moment, ready to use the ulti, but Faker has stolen one away. The golden eclipse, but the follow-up is there from Peter. Makes it a 1-for-1. Vault Breaker coming in. Faker just CC'd for an eternity. The Kingslayer healing not available in time as Cuzz is on a killing spree.
This was the point where T1 turned the game. The lead this time is bigger for KT, but I think T1 don't want to let them get this dragon. Want to get soul point themselves.
Faker's ulti available. Needs to hijack the ulti of Peter. Chip really starting to hurt onto Doran. Catch over the wall onto Cuzz, the most fed member. They're immediately going to delete him, and the rest of KT try to pull the trigger, but they can't quite find the angle. BDD, Doctam, they've got the range advantage. Peter waiting to peel for them if necessary. Perfect. Spots them in the darkness. The Tremor Sense showing him what he needs to see, but they've stopped moving or have moved out of range. He can't be certain now. The Q from Doran moving in. Peter still gets the ulti. It's a golden eclipse from BDD. A new dawn for KT in game 2, but T1 are unconcerned. Guma, Keria standing, the bot lane. Will it be enough? BDD trying to buy her back, but it's Gumayushi fearlessly advancing, ricocheting, tearing through the dreams of KT. This man is a team fighting demon. The dragon starting to fall. Turn back from Faker as he catches out Doc Dom. Cuzz there to try and peel, but it is too late. Owner moving in. A cataclysm across the top side. Perfectly canceled. BDD flashing over the wall. Gumayusi still living. Perfect on the chase. Peter wants to fire back. Cuzz running for the hills. 2 down on the side of T1. But Guma might be enough. Perfect gets the bite. Tears right through him, and now it's Owner picked off as well. KT fighting for their lives. BDD still standing, crucially. The extra damage. Doran set to fall. A double kill for the KT mid laner.
And BDD stands supreme on the mill.
Him and BDD have been very critical. Now, though, Doran is looking at Doc Dom.
Doc Dom, unaware of the Scion, but knows that he has relative safety. Has to be careful about walking forward towards that brush. And Doran, perfectly placed and baited Doc Dom. Far too confident.
T1 now looking to pounce Doc Dom in the river, but he is Ezreal.
Doc Dom, pass over the wall. Peter looking to make a play. Lockdown onto Faker, looking to turn it back. Root is connected as well. Faker's been caught. Buys a brief moment with the Seekers. The rest of T1 retreating. Perfect buying of space, and the tunnel over the wall. It's a heist. He buys the time to take Faker down. Doran with a decimating smash. Peter on the chase. They'll only connect onto one, but it's enough to start the fight in their favor. Gumayusi untouched, but he's also not able to do any damage. Cuzz keeping it going. KT pushing into the jungle of T1, zoning them away from the Baron as they set their sights on that Red Bull Baron power play.
They win the critical fight. They find Faker. They get the advantage, and Perfect is able to escape. Wait a second.
BDD flash. Doran forced to flash back over the wall. Sidestep on the decimating smash. Peter there to cover. Guma can't push for anything else. Doran getting chunked out. That's the ulti to seal it. BDD going godlike. Guma alone in the mid lane. Objective slowly falling. Owner zoned off. Perfect there with the knockup. Needs to lock it down. Owner's not going to have a chance. KT, it takes some time, but they take down the Baron. Now, of course, has access to the cease and desist. Now wants to make the play onto Perfect. Perfect able to get the blast cone out. That mega blast cone keeping him healthy. KT standing strong, poking T1 as they walk into this choke point. BDD waiting for some of those major cooldowns to be used before he takes a step forward. Mega Blast Cone getting 2 members of T1 over the wall. KT retreating back down to the bottom lane as Cuzz starts the objective. Flag there, spots the objective play. Faker on the flank. Perfect not going to give him the angle. KT starting to retreat. Starting to get forced backwards. Doran to kick things off. Peter to look for the interrupt. Faker using an ulti of his own to be stolen away. BDD taking another fight. But down goes Guma. Cuzz making it work, but PD's owned away by Keria. And all of KT now collapsing on the T1 support. At the end of the day, it is only Owner, and he cannot stop the soul.
KT get the soul, and they want the Nexus too.
Perfect continues to push down. They've learned, they've adapted, they've stayed strong in the face of the game 1 loss. KT firing back against T1, but do they have the power to end the game? Another TP. Doc Dom on the way. Doran giving everything to clear the waves. Owner and Keria here. Surely the Ezreal is enough, but the creeps are falling back. Doran remains standing. T1 are not out of it yet. Doc Dom needs more, and he cannot get it.
Guma's up in 10 seconds. The reinforcements from T1 will arrive.
And T1 will cling on to this game.
In their favor, the map is in their favor. They don't need to risk anything, and still they'll take their time walking into the jungle. This time around, Doran won't be able to find the blind decimating smash, but the ulti to kick things off. He connects onto the wall. Perfect waiting on the back line. Doc Dom untouched. BDD untouched. Doran straying way too far forward in a moment of miscommunication. Down goes the top laner of T1. KT start the Baron. BDD not showing on vision yet. The last inhib tower falling down. Inhibitors following after. T1, a last desperate hold here in game 2. If they can turn it back, it takes them to match point, but KT set to even up the series in the 2025 World Finals. Doran isolating Cuzz. Peter going forward, finds 3 with the knockup. Perfect there to fall, but Faker turns it right back and knocks down Peter. Doc Dom, BDD, still standing. Baguma! He's shredding through everybody! The Sivir finally allowed to take over the fight, but they managed to take him. Faker's still alive in the scrappy fight. The extra healing is making all the difference. Doc Dom doesn't quite have the damage that he needs. KT holding on for dear life. Doc Dom able to find the kill. Perfect, Cuzz, Doc Dom falls. A final hold for T1. It almost turns in their favor, but Perfect is going to end the game. Guma dies, and so does T1. KT even up the series.
And I can't believe I'm saying this, but perfect, reliable as all hell in this game, doesn't go down. Cuzz maybe doing some poking, but I don't think an actual contest is in the works here.
As long as he has his passive up,
Peter is.
he's not too worried. Hex Drake down. BDD waiting in the darkness. Multi-man. The CC layering is there. Doctem on the way in, but he's only level 4. Owner now running for his life. Forced to flash away. Ulti comes out from Faker. He doesn't have a lot of mana left. The Dark Sphere hitting, slowing Faker down. The chase coming through, but they really don't have what they need. Ulti there. His power unleashed. The weak scattered. And first blood for KT. That's a Mundo with red buff. Doran.
Yeah, Syndra's coming.
Doran.
He's just dead.
You only have one piece of CC.
Cornered.
Yeah, that doesn't work on him. He's going where he pleases. Doran, I think this might not have been what you wanted. BDD on the way, hoping to get this donated. Doran, I think.
Well, he's stalling.
Barnott might be in the game, but this is certainly a magical journey for Doran as
Trying for the execute. It's all he can do, but not going to happen.
Continuing to do
That's
decent
a lot of
damage.
damage.
Infernal, good damage as well. Lock up there, but Owner going unstoppable. Peter caught out for a brief moment, immediately going to be forced to ult. That's the unbreakable will. The flash, it doesn't connect. The Q doing absolutely nothing means T1 are able to walk away. A bit of a fumble from Peter, but it doesn't cost KT much yet. Guma Yushi standing on the backside, ready to transcend if he needs to. Doctem going all in to try to stop him from getting his fight. Owner on the way in, looking for the reset to keep the fights going. BDD going over, wants to kill Owner, but Owner lives for an extra second. The stun to turn it back. Owner taking over BDD, but the stun does not connect, and Peter's now running. Cuzz locked down in the meantime. Perfect is finally here, but it might not matter. Reset on the ulti from Owner means he gets to back away, but the health bars are low across all of T1. KT, this is an insane gamble. Objective, lower and lower, and Cuzz gonna take it unstoppable for Perfect. Gets a bit more space. Keria still living. Doctem on the way in, and Guma set the fall. Down goes the 80 carry. Doctem on the way out, the TP in. Fish in a barrel, and it's time for KT to start free firing. T1 thought they had the edge, but in the end, it's KT who take the Drake and the play. All of T1 forced to retreat. Maximum dosage popped just to get him in range as BDD then now collapsing on the side lane. Multiple pieces of CC stun. Initial lock up into Owner is decent. BDD trying to turn back. Sidestep does not work. Owner taking the kill.
One of the hardest parts about these control mage changes.
If they do opt to contest.
Oh, there's the TP. There's the flank.
TP from behind. Flashing forward. Keриa's going to find the knock on to Doctem, but Peter beautifully stopping the initial engage. Doran from behind, though, more than enough to knock down that 80 carry. KT running.
Huge TP flank. What? It turns into more.
Peter flash out. Reset from Owner. Unstoppable for a moment. Owner setting up for the angle, but he's not going to overcommit. Reset on the ulti. Taking him out as T1 start the objective.
And Dragon is going to be picked up here by KT. Camtech definitely high value, but you do give up the topside turret. This gold lead for T1 getting larger and larger as Keria not sitting on
Peter,
Smite.
Hex flash, pulverize, knocks Keria back over the wall, and here comes Doctem. Down goes Keria. A little bonus kill on top of the Drake, certainly nice to have. So KT get the Drake, they get a kill. The redemption now used as well, and it's on Doran to instantly delete this wave. It's working out well so far, but can he keep his life? TP's coming in from the side of T1, but it's just Faker and Guma off to the side. They don't have the tools to keep the fight going. KT going to respond. All of T1 now retreating. Faker continuing to poke.
If you win this fight, you might not just get Dragon, you might get Otacon as well. We'll see T1 might give up the Drake and then play for the objective instead. Perfect.
Owner lurking in the darkness. Perfect unstoppable for a brief moment. T1 happy to have the poke chipping away at that health bar.
Oh, they're pincering them.
KT losing control of that Tri-Brush is big. Scatter going wide, also massive. It's a huge cooldown at this point in the game. Perfect over the wall with the blast cone. Knocks back Guma. Redemption going down. Cuzz holding on to the maximum dosage as long as he can, but it's Faker off to the side. Not too isolated. 5K on the Drake. Getting lower. Eyes on Peter. The Alistair to make the play as Faker tries to zone away. KT, it's Peter in the clutch. Scatter to fall, but the fall damage is not there. Exhausted is Faker. And Keria tries to turn it back, but he's all by his lonesome. Doran cannot get into the back line. KT managed to find the initial kill. It's perfect. Starts to pop off. Guma missing completely. They get the Drake, but it might cost T1 everything.
He flashes into the wall, and that might be the Otacon going over to KT.
Cuzz continuing to go where he damn well pleases.
Faker can TP back in. A lot of cooldowns are gone, though. Look at the ultimates that aren't available for T1.
They have to be careful of moving into the choke, and they know what Owner trying to approach from another side. The potential for BDD to line up a multi-man scatter for it to end the fight in a blink of an eye is massive, but once again, it's the flank that they're looking for. But it's Doran caught out! BDD unleashing his power. Cuzz using the maximum dosage as KT start to push into Gumayusi. He's ultless, he's helpless, there's nothing he can do. Mundo pushing further and further into T1's back line.
KT are doing it! The stun from BDD right onto Renekton as he's trying to go through the wall. BDD stuns him as he dashes, and the reward might be barren.
There is still the opportunity for Steel owners there. He doesn't have his ultimate though. Flash about to come up. If they don't steal this, KT might set up for a soul point as well.
Teleport.
Coming in from BDD, well called. Potential 50-50. The Mundo damage. The auto Keria trying to zone. Peter on the way and wants to knock them out of the fight. The objective getting lower and lower, but off T1! Deleted! In the blink of an eye, KT take everything!
JDG looked like they had them on the ropes, and they found the comeback as the TP comes in.
TP from behind, they want to catch out Perfect. Perfect can try and use Doran as an escape route. Keria has to be careful, but Pathmaker already used means that Perfect is in trouble. Q3 back through, using Keria now to escape. Perfect on his way out. It's not the Rek'Sai, but once again, it feels like he's going to escape. All of KT looking to collapse. Eyes on Faker and Doran as Perfect flashes out to safety. That's the ulti used by Guma. KT pulling back, keeping Perfect alive. Doran wants to make the difference. Cuzz goes in! T1 making it happen. Guma fails the flash. It stops the fight from going through. Doran getting whittled down. And in the end, it's Cuzz again who refuses to drop. Peter with the CC. I cannot believe it. KT holding on as T1 in the end might finally get to the moon. Now, no!
Who comes out ahead? The scrap Faker trying to chase down the extra kill, but so is Cuzz.
I think the time has worked out better for KT here. Look, the jungler for KT is up, Cuzz. He is unbothered. He's about to secure them. That Chemtech soul.
Bot wave pushing in the favor of KT. Crucially, if T1 take a fight and lose, KT will immediately end the game. T1, the pressure point is on them. KT have baited them into the trap. Peter from the darkness finding Doran, but not the ideal carry as Guma and Faker are still untouched for now. Gravity field to lock them up. Maximum dosage. Cuzz getting lower, but still living. The Mundo refusing to die, and Gumayusi drops. KT taking it across the finish line. Faker forced back. The bot lane open. The TP there for BDD. KT moving to match point.
The KT Rolster coaster keeps going up and up.
We're still not done. KT about to go up match point in the Telecom war in the world's final. Now done. Making his way over, even getting a summoner or getting the egg would be big.
Faker grounded, Cuzz on the way in. Good wall to force the disengage, but BDD full committing even though he has no mana. They do manage to get the passive out of Faker. Cuzz full committing. Peter on the way. The tongue lash there. They want to give the kill to BDD, but it'll go to Cuzz in the end.
Engage from KT, just not the best. It's really looking like a full commit or bust.
Cuzz ready for the 50-50. Faker off to the side. Decent damage onto BDD. Owner going all in. Flashback coming out from Cuzz. Wall there as well as BDD just barely able to skirt around the edge. But the objective set up now for the side of T1, double TPs. KT want to claim it for a bit more. Ulti coming out from the side of Keria. Drake down. The back line of KT berserk as they look if they can turn it back. But again, they don't have the tools to keep the fight going unless Peter wants to flash tongue lash. But that's all their CC. Perfect fighting off to the side, dragging Faker into the death realm. In the meantime, BDD starting to walk forward. Doran potentially caught out. The four-man! BDD showing he can be clutch in the moments that count. Turning it again. KT were losing the fight as they lost the objective. Gumayusi will not be able to make the bailout work. The Drake to T1, the fight to KT.
Oh, Doran's gonna want that one back. The big whiff on the Gragas engage there.
Peter knock up a bit too far. The thick skin, yeah, it's not gonna save you. Caught up in the hype, caught up in the moment. Faker gonna get one back. We'll just take the more conventional path through the mid lane, however.
And look at the flank from Doran here, trying to hide there on the Ocean Rift, looking for a big displacement.
Herald summoned in the mid lane. 5v5 at the pit. Flash ulti available for BDD if he wants to try and find it. Perfect isolated off to the side. Hostile takeover stops Peter from going any further. Dockdam completely isolated. Cooking the barrel for just a little bit longer, and now the Drake is going to go down. Owner taking it. Dockdam isolated! And Perfect trying to force a fight with Faker, but he gets nothing as the wall comes in to interrupt. Flash over the wall. The ulti from BDD, he might get a couple more kills, but again, the objective belongs to KT. Even as T1 begin to fall, Faker and Keria ready to turn it. But have they overcommitted the wall there to try and disengage? Keria, Faker running into the pinch, Obliterate connecting for full damage. Cuzz on the chase, waiting a few seconds for the pillar, but the stun clutch to disengage for the side of T1.
We've seen him and Gumayushi often be the deciding factor together. As KT, they might just full send in on Otacon, at least to get the TP out of Doran.
Understand the gamble that KT are in because T1 are collapsing, and in the meantime, waves are being deleted. It's costing KT hundreds of gold just to be here. And if T1 take the fight, it might just cost them the game.
Perfect has
sticking around, ready to get them away. The ulti not stacked up. Perfect going forward just a little bit longer. The death realm to come out. Owner going to respond with an ulti of his own, turning off the lights on this team fight between both lineups. Gumayushi and Perfect in the death realm, and Guma takes those. T1 focusing on the objective. Cleanse used from Keria. Heal on the way. Faker finding a bit more damage. BDD isolated. Hostile takeover going to connect onto BDD. It won't have much effect as Cuzz tries to chase Faker out. But Dockdam, he might take Keria. But it's T1 taking the Otacon. Guma securing the objective.
And there it is. The second smite for T1 strikes again. Barring an Elder flip, T1's got to be feeling real good.
Doran isolated for a moment. The miasma just a little bit late as Faker's off to the side. Good damage onto Perfect to kick things off. Cuzz still eating a bit of damage. The poke from T1, a bit tough to deal with. You can see the pierce that lands onto Dockdam, taking that chunk of health. Flash in, full committal to the fight. Pillar to isolate Owner, redemption to heal Faker right back up. That's almost every single cooldown burn. It's on BDD to try to turn it back, but it's a split fight. T1 coming from multiple sides, collapsing as Owner moves in on top of Perfect. Doran has been isolated in the death realm, but he'll manage to make it over. Flashback, absolutely jukes him. And now it's Perfect caught in a 1v1 with Faker right as he comes out. He is stunned, but he won't be taken down. All of T1 in the pit. The spears stacked, smites available.
Faker's going to teleport back. They're recalling Mordekaiser and the Anivia.
The fight just continues to go. 6K getting lower. Dockdam trying to get a bit of poke. Hostile takeover connecting. They don't have a cleanse. Devour from Peter is good, but it might not matter. Cuzz continuing to move in. BDD waiting over the wall. The ulti is there, but they don't need to face him yet. The turn on to Faker isn't enough. 3K. Cuzz in the pit. At the end of the day, it does not matter because it is Doran to get the soul. KT might be able to get the fight, but there's too many members of T1 standing. Ocean Soul to T1 as everybody on KT falls.
And I am starting to hear. And KT, we'll see if they can make something happen.
Owner and T1 have secured every single objective this game. Cuzz moving in, but zoned away by the storm from the side of the team. Berserk now onto Cuzz, has to ulti. Owner using an ulti of his own just to try and disengage. Doran, meanwhile, in the mid lane, happy to just continue fighting. Perfect going into the back line, looking to get taken down by Faker. He's in the death realm, but Faker's happy with the 1v1. Just in time, he gets out, and Doran is there to seal the deal on the kill. KT desperate to get anything. They've already lost their top laner. The game rapidly slipping away.
They're trying their best to not let this game go to 5 as Doran still searching.
No flash for BDD, that crucial piece of CC and exhaust there. But Faker just waiting in the darkness. Guma stacking up the spears, the wall to zone KT away. Flash not there for Cuzz either. BDD off on the side is going to use the ultimate. W in from Peter does absolutely nothing. T1, they see a vulnerable opponent. They know what they can do as they start to rip them to shreds. KT is not going to take a bear, and T1 reminding us why they are here, what they can do in a world final.
And T1 ensure that we are going the distance. We are getting our full value out of this series as KT just cannot close the gap to T1's backline.
It's so effortless for T1 to just walk away.
Yeah, perfect. Guma is 2 levels up on the top laner.
Cuzz caught out, isolated, immediate subjugate to try and stay standing, forced to flash back. BDD in the darkness, 3-man, but it's Doran to try to turn it right back. The ulti is decent, Keria wants to turn it back with the hostile takeover. The gold deficit is just too massive. Even a miracle, even an incredible angle was not enough in the face of this T1 lineup. The triple, the quadra, T1 bringing us to silver scrapes.
Guma lives the engage, and T1's hopes live in the grand finals.
And the Telecom war has never been this insane. World's Finals, Game 5.
Perfect. Needs to back up. Level 3. Getting lower and lower. Last Right's offering a bit of healing. The tactical sweep there from Doran to slow him down. Owner all but certain to make this one come through. First blood for T1. Doran's Camille takes it.
Actually having so much Fred here in mid.
Yeah, it's a critical breakpoint because Galio lane does really revolve around, do I have jungle pressure to put threat behind when I move up in lane and try and taunt you? And now you don't have that pressure at all.
Q forward, sidestep, the taunt, Faker, turning it back, BDD, one more auto, the 1-for-1!
And BDD, no hesitation, must have known that was going to kill him.
Meanwhile, on the top side of the map, Doran locked down with the Pandas. Cuzz on the way up.
Oh, just barely.
With the flail. Doran barely able to walk away.
They didn't want to use the flash knowing that Doran's still at his. But we are getting explosive here. No slow early game in this game 5.
And BDD, he goes for that dive. You know, he does invest his flash. So that is something critical to look at. Owner is back and ganking again.
Perfect needs to get out. Has the flash available, but Doran just going to immediately flash follow. The adaptive defensive, the hook shot still there. The Q back for a bit of healing, but it's not enough. Did it so well. It's one of the few things that we haven't seen from him yet this tournament is now the hookshot wall dive is there. Dom flashing away, but Owner's on the way as well. Ulti there, that's the Hextech ultimatum. Dom likely to escape, but it looks like Peter will be sacrificed in return. The hookshot, making it out, send it play back to the tower, but it might cost Keria his life. It's the 1-for-1, no! The minion flicking out! Keria walks away!
Out of the lane swap, T1 find the trailing play here. Dom and Peter could not fully push the wave in, and so T1 pounce.
And that's the
the comments! I had tea in my mouth, but that was incredible, the arcade comment!
And the Camille Galio
Baker.
Leona combo is
moving down, that's the combo, locks him in the ultimatum, finds the damage, the taunt is there, and Doran takes another.
oh, perfect.
Doran on the way up, the maiden summoned. Doran though, he's got backup. Owner on the way in, locked once again in the ultimate of Doran, but perfect living for an extra second, the Q2 coming through just in time. KT want to punish, but they're a little bit too late. T1 might just be a little bit late here. Cuzz desperately needs to smite. Doesn't quite connect. Crucially, Dom able to get out for a brief moment. BDD now trying to turn and fire back, but Faker is on the way. Ulti going in. Doran is down. BDD still standing. The exhaust managing to take him a little bit lower, but Gumayushi sits on the back line completely untouched. BDD finally able to start opening up. His Owner gets one back in return. Perfect is here to keep his mid laner alive. And there you go. KT find an angle to keep it close.
T1, but it doesn't look like they want to take the gamble.
Perfect also about to be taunted up, has to be careful. They have so much damage here. Doran, of course, just reset the tower aggro, but he is locked down for a damn long time. Doran, untouchable for a brief moment, but they managed to kill him. T1 fumble the play in the mid lane, and perfect redemption as he survives the dive. Mom called, but she will not connect. Owner Faker here, the TP is used. T1 making the fast play happen. KT caught reeling, too far behind on tempo. Doran might have fallen in the previous play, but he is still damn powerful. Dom here. T1 pushing them back. It'll take a miracle for them to get this one out. Owner, Peter coming in for the lockup, but Owner manages to get the objective, the fight coming out. Fire rained over the wall by Gumayushi, and down goes Peter. BDD finally arrived. That's the ulti coming in the meantime. He needs a little bit more space. Dom, BDD untouched, but the front line has fallen. BDD, CC'd, knocked into the sky, and right back into the grave. T1, get Otacon, and ace KT. 3.5k individual lead, 7,000 gold for T1. The Baron started as expected. KT in dire straits as Faker brings it back. Wants to turn with the taunt. Initial lockup from Keria is good. Dom laying down a bit of poke, and he's going to be able to satchel out, but an immediate flash follow coming in from Owner. T1 don't even need the objective. They're happy to keep pushing for a bit more. On the top side of the fight, they've isolated BDD. He's continuing to fight. He wants to turn it back. He gets the kill on Doran. Crucially, Faker falls. KT hold. Their top side missing flash, that crucial cooldown, but their ultis will be there. 3 seconds on Doran. Gumayushi, the other player to keep your eye on as well. The ulti can do a lot of work. Doran going in, doesn't connect the hookshot wall dive, immediately CC'd. Exhaust coming in as well. Combo over the top from Guma. Finds two. Exhaust as Keria moves his way to the backline. Faker rains down from the sky. Locks up BDD and obliterates the hope for KT Rolster.
The bullet time will end the time of KT here at Worlds as T1 will chase down Cuzz and look for the Baron.
And they will not be denied. unless KT pull out an absolute miracle. I think we're seeing Owner looking for an ult angle, sitting in that jungle, but even with the wave clear of Ziggs and Smolder, it's tough to hold on.
Doran looking to get things kicked off. Hookshot wall dive brings him over. He's taking the tower already. Flashback to get away from Cuzz's ultimate. And the ulti manages to connect from Dom. A big fumble. Not enough to get T1 back into full control of the game because there are no objectives on the map. But Aaron spawning. Relatively even setup, but again, it's the waves in favor of T1 that make this so hard. Is immediately they're going to kick things off by going in on Cuzz, taking away the Frost Armor passive. Lockdown from Keria is there. TP in from Doran as well. Ulti's going across the board. BDD cut off the side. A good flash to take him out, and Guma has to be careful, but he's so damn fast. Owner, they got up BDD. He goes gold in an extra 2.5 seconds to consider what went wrong as T1 looks set to end it all.
They're gonna finish the job. It is Doran and Peter left alone in the mid lane, and T1 will ace them.
T1 earning their legacy again and again and again. There can be no doubting it. 4 players on the Rift today making the impossible possible. Owner, Faker, Guma Yushi, Keria, and now Doran as well.